Hello and welcome to Wake Up Our Faith in Business. This is the show dedicated to helping you live out your faith between Sundays. That's where you spend most of your time, and for most folks, that is in business. Matt Ham, Kevin Adams, we're the co-founders of Uprint, Faith and Personal Development Organization. Just want to let you guys know, thanks for tuning in, whether you're listening to us on the podcast, live on Wilmington's Big Talker, 106.7 FM, one of the streaming services, or on our Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter page. We're kind of everywhere, Kev. I love this.
Yeah.
This is like great distribution.
Yeah,
so
it is.
It's fantastic. So appreciate you guys tuning in. I want to let you guys know we have a variety of resources to help you actually live this out, whether that be our portable faith community, kind of daily encouragement, one-to-one mentoring. As we mentioned in the last hour, we have these workshops that we do in businesses. There's just so much cool stuff going on. But this broadcast is really about putting some ideas in front of you, kind of inviting you into the conversation. The show is made possible by our corporate partners, one of those being Physical Therapy Services of Wilmington, on the web at ptservicesofwilmington.com, serving southeastern North Carolina since 1983, family-owned and operated with offices on 17th Street and at Porter's Neck. Give them a call, 910-763-8286. Many thanks to PT Services of Wilmington. So, Kev, we've been doing the Faith in Business second hour segment now for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And it's good. We have great interviews, great content. And today we're going to kind of unpack some powerful questions and just really help people understand what this dynamic of living out faith looks like in your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, what we try to do as a transition point is to take what faith is in all areas through life experience, et cetera, and take it out of Sunday and then carry it tangibly into from the ground up to where we spend the most time. And for most people, that is some form of business because people work and there's commerce, et cetera, even if you're a dog walker or a babysitter. So the idea is most people aren't sitting around watching TV all day during the week. I mean, maybe some are.
Right. And
maybe some need to, right?
Sure.
You need to rest sometimes. But most people are in the environment of Monday through Friday going somewhere, trading goods and services, resources for income. So that is what this is. It's not just an entrepreneurial thing. It's how you spend your time where. So in business, we've got to live out our faith there because God didn't make some distinction and put up walls between business and your personal life. It's all part of the same.
Not segregated.
It's not segregated.
We segregate it.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
That's right. You can't please God without faith. You can't please Him without faith. That means everywhere. That means in business. Right. It's still true, right? Absolutely. So that's the context, and we just come back and reiterate that. But anyway, today we didn't really have a big agenda. We continue to schedule interviews and different things with local folks, but we just part of when we meet with people, we have a lot of vetting type questions. And so I just brought those along today, and we have those to maybe really what it's sort of a self-guided reflective tool to help people go, oh, this is something I never thought about. And so I guess the point is it's about setting the right frame of mind from moment one.
Sure.
So if Sunday's over, rah, 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 you had your chicken, you watched the telly, and sports or whatever you did. Sunday, Monday's here. You're going back into the world, and so from moment one, you got to have the right frame of mind. So that's what this is about this hour, and then we've got some different questions to play around with and toss them out there just for fun.
Yeah, no, I love it. And, it's I don't know where you want to start. I just, my eyes navigated here looking at these questions to this.
It's all fair game, man.
Yeah, so the first thing that jumps off the page to me is the second question in this list here, and it's what's the world's definition of success? And I love it because people well,
Yeah.
they start squirming a little bit. It's like this past week I was with this leadership group, and I asked them, I said, how many people believe that leadership is about success and money? And nobody would raise their hand. And there's like one dude. And I go, well, at least you got one honest person, because I know every single one of you has something, because that's why you follow famous people.
Right.
That's why you look up to these iconic.
Yeah.
That's why you get nervous if, whoever the popular rapper would walk into the room right now.
Right.
You'd freak out.
Sure.
Because by the world's definition, he's famous, he's rich, whatever, and you see that as successful.
Yeah.
So I love that question.
Yeah. That is a good question. Let's talk about, so the question is it's meant to help you think a little bit. Now that's a very simple one. The very first question is, and we can lead back in, why am I still here after salvation? So we're talking to Christians here.
Sure.
I'll throw that caveat in. You get the oddball comment. I used to get them on Twitter all the time. People, atheists, just, trying to lampoon what I'm saying. I'm like, why are you even here? Who cares? You're not going to change my opinion. Anyway, why am I still here after salvation? That's a question that a lot of people don't ask. And so to understand what that looks like, you have to recognize who God is to you. And when you start to go there, then you'll start seeing who you are to him. And it starts to work together. Father, son, father, daughter, etc. That begins to add value. Then you can start working from there all the way out through the desires of your heart. So why am I still here? Not why am I here? Everybody asks that. But why, as a Christian, are you still here? Because if it's just about getting saved, let's go home. What the heck? Let's go eat hot dogs on the beach in heaven. But that God doesn't, that's not the way it is for most people. We've got a lifetime to live, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. I think that there's this weird unspoken, it's probably spoken thing in Christian culture where there's some level of guilt for people that work like whatever we call a normal job, a day job, and it's like, well, I'm not in ministry, so therefore I missed the boat somehow, and I just got to go do this over here.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a conceptual misunderstanding of what the role that our actual between Sunday lives plays in the kingdom.
Yeah.
And so, this whole, and you can tie it into what we talked about, the dreams versus, the day job, dream job, whatever.
Right.
People live in this place, but it's laced with guilt. It's laced with shame.
Yeah.
And it's laced with uncertainty about why am I still here? And so I love this question because it taps into getting people to be honest about what it is that's actually driving their interactions.
Yeah. Yeah, and we walk through that, especially in learning to feel the Word. It starts to really take you down this path to where you can begin to, answer that question. But anyway, the idea here is today we're just tossing out some of these questions, to tweak our thought process to kind of, it's like jump starting a car. If you ever, back in the old days, you had a stick shift, you could jumpstart that thing, just put it in gear and roll it downhill and let off the clutch and boom, it'll start. This is meant to do that because we do get in that groove of, oh yeah, but that's ministry, and so what really, if you understand that you're still here and there's a why to it because God didn't do it on accident, then you start to recognize that you are a ministry. This is your identity at the ground level. So the greatest form of obedience isn't a bunch of good works. It's to get hungry for him and step into that and let him uncover it. A lot of people have a good friend of ours and a guy we're working with. He said, my word last year was surrender. And I think he was saying it in a way, I got something in my throat. He was saying it in a way like, I don't think I did it.
It was.
And I think the reason for that is, I don't care about the word or 10 words or whatever. I think the point is you got to have an idea that gets in your heart. So, But the reason is because people don't really understand what surrender means. We stop at these quick soundbite definitions. Walk by faith. I mean, we use Scripture, but we've got to get behind the door. We've got to dig in and go underneath it and really chew on that. And then God's Spirit will illuminate it and give you massive wisdom about it. But most people don't do that.
Mm.
So that's why we have these questions to kind of jumpstart that process. But anyway, he didn't know surrender. Did I do it? Did I not? I don't know.
Well, it's a fantastic catalyst, and that's the point, is to really catalyze people's faith. Why the show is called Wake Up Our Faith in Business.
Yeah, you got to carry it into business with you.
Absolutely. Matt Ham, Kevin Adams, we will be back after a short break. To Faith in Business. This is the show that is aimed at helping you live out your faith between Sundays, where you spend the majority of your time. Kevin Adams is rocking his pink Nalgene bottle. I remember we used to joke about that thing a while back, man.
I stole it. I stole it from my wife. She's got a bunches of water bottle.
Take it.
I just grabbed the quickest one.
All good, man.
Yeah, and it's pink or something. Could be coral.
Yeah, it's coral. I'll give you that. It's all good, man.
Pink's good. I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, man. Land of sunshine and surfing.
It's spring officially. That means the pink is coming, baby. You know me. I'm going to wear pink and white all the time. I mean, that's me. I wear that kind of stuff all the
you're
time.
going mint julep crowd, man. You need to be in Nashville watching the Derby, the Phillies or whatever they are.
The Phillies. Oh man, guys, appreciate you tuning in here to Wake Up Our Faith in Business. Matt Ham, Kevin Adams, we're the co-founders of Uprint. We want to let you guys know about a community community here that we've partnered with. This is a challenge to rise up against sexual abuse in our community and register for the Journey to Heal Ministries first annual Hope Run. This is part of the Rise Up Race series, 3 races here in the Wilmington area. We love what these folks are doing at Journey to Heal.
Yeah.
We're going to have them on in a couple of weeks to share more about kind of the story and the passion underneath this. But they're having a 5K 1-mile run out here at Brunswick Forest. I'm pointing that way because it's that way out the window here. We got this new office overlooking the Cape Fear. It's beautiful. Got the battleship behind us. But at the Brunswick Forest there on April 27th, they're having a 5K. It starts at 8:30 a.m. You can get registered. Funds raised will help women healing from past sexual abuse here in this community. Registration starts as low as $20. Would encourage you guys and love you guys to get involved in this. You can go to journeytohealministries.org/hope run.
Yeah.
Go get plugged into this. We're pumped to be a part of it.
Yeah. We're what a privilege. Yeah, I can really just please support this effort. These are good friends. They're doing great work, and there's so much need for it.
Absolutely.
In this area. So yeah.
We're jazzed to be a part of it. So Kev, today, here on the show we have interviews. Sometimes we walk through some content and just a variety of things to help catalyze people's faith in their business.
Right.
And today we're tapping into some powerful questions. I threw one out in the first segment, threw another one out. Let's keep diving into this, man. Pick one out and let's roll with it, and let's keep using these as a way to kind of help people jump into it.
Yeah, well, it's a battery, a reflective. It's something we use to kind of vet, not necessarily to vet. It's kind of help get people in the right frame of mind before they go through the coaching process. Let's see here. Gosh, there's so many of them, and we didn't come in here knowing what we were going to pick. But here's one. Would you rather accomplish something on your own that amounts to less and give secret credit, or accomplish something impossible that changes the world and assigns God all the credit? So, in other words, let me read that again. I kind of garbled it. Would you rather accomplish something on your own that amounts to less and give yourself secret credit, or something impossible that changes the world but assigns God all the credit? That's kind of it's almost a tongue twister, but it's something to get you to think. You have to work at the question a little bit. You have to think about it. People aren't used to that.
Yeah.
It's just, you're amazing. No, you're amazing. No, you're amazing. And just,
Stop making me think.
yeah, yeah, right.
What good is that going to do?
You got a brain, use it. The thing will wilt on the vine, man.
Yeah.
But so the point is to get you to think through the idea that, like Paul said, I count it all rubbish. Everything he had. And I so relate to that now, having had so much. But Paul changed the world, but his whole thing was about assigning all the credit to God. And, so that's a big question. But anyway, something to think about.
It touches me in this place. It's been, 8 months, 9 months, I guess, since I walked away from, the insurance industry. And I saw some recent posts from folks who are still in the industry, and they have their annual awards banquet, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about this. I know you had, your experience with that when you were in sales. And I remember how much I valued winning these awards. And how much you kind of held on to these. And it's like, man, all my hard work, and here's a plaque to show for it. And not taking credit away from folks who work hard and, pour into their clients and all that kind of stuff. But the question here is deeper than that, because this is about accomplishing something impossible that changes the world. Yeah. And God gets the credit for it. Right. And there doesn't need to be a plaque on the wall that says, look what I did. Yeah. And so it's just it's a charge, man, to pierce the heart a little bit, to say, what are you really about? Yeah, it is. It really is. And it's, the value of your life in 1,000 years. It's taking a look at that. And we use 1,000 years because saying 100 is, it's just not enough. I mean, we need to have this sort of eternal, this thing that approaches eternal. 1,000 years isn't really that long. I mean, the Vikings were around 1,000 years ago. So it's not, but so it's a nice middle ground to kind of tweak the mind a little bit. But what will have mattered about your life? It will only be that thing which gave God the credit and blessed the world. Now, God, the beautiful thing is God gets the credit and the glory, but we get the victory. We get the satisfaction of being used. And God will always raise you up if you sit at the low end of the table. So you don't have to worry about the credit part. Mother Teresa is a great example of that. She never set out to be a hero, but she is. So let him do that. Paul, we know Paul. Everybody knows Paul. Anybody's a Christian. So he didn't try to be a hero. He let it all go. God made him a hero only because he was so willing, so humble, so surrendered. Yeah. Kevin, how do you answer somebody, and I'm not being cynical about this, I mean, for somebody who genuinely comes to you and says, Kevin, can I really change the world? Like if they struggle with that belief. I'm not saying somebody who's like, well, you can't change. I'm not talking about the attitude there. I'm talking about somebody with a pure heart who says, man, I want to believe that, but I'm struggling to understand that I could really change the world. How would you go about answering that? Well, if you've never looked at your family tree, do it, and you'll start to see how many layers and layers and layers. Now, if you pull one person out of that in your line, then you don't exist. This is, changing the world is. It's not something that, we tend to box that in. This is mantra. This is, getting into a cultural thing. In fact, it may be opposite today with millennials. Everybody can change the world, in that funny way. Right. But that just means fame. That's all that boils down to. That's not what we're talking about. Change the world, We are the world. Come on. It's a good song. Yes. Sorry. It's a great song. But I think that you change the world one step at a time, and you do it by allowing God to work through you. Listen, here's the thing. You're already connected to the outcome. You don't have to stress over it. God already has an outcome planned. He made you to fill his purpose. Yeah. When you start putting it in that perspective, doing that does change the world. So, if you want to be YouTube famous, go for it.
if you want your life to have great value to heaven on earth through you to the lives of people that transform their lives,
Yes.
your life will do that. Everybody has that in them, and that is powerful. I sit in front of people one-on-one all week long, regularly, and their lives are changing, and I don't shy away from that. That's the good Lord working. But, I mean, I'm not famous, so who cares, right? So, but yes.
Will you sign this for me, Kevin? You get your autograph.
Yeah. So it's not about that, and that may come as a result. I mean, look, can you say that Denzel Washington changed the world? Maybe. He's definitely entertained people, but what changes the world is when he stands up and says, "Hey, man, I'm a believer, and this is first in my life."
Yeah.
That starts changing, because people are enamored with all that other stuff and talent, but what they want to hear is testimony and truth. When someone's brave enough to put that underneath it, that's what changes things. So, yeah. You can change the world. Absolutely.
No, I love it, man. I love it. That's just so refreshing. I just encourage folks to rewind that, play it over, wake up telling yourself that. As God doesn't make junk, he makes genius. He made you. You can change the world. We got a couple more segments here on Faith in Business. Matt Ham, Kevin Adams. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back for more right after this. Hello, and welcome back to Wake Up Our Faith in Business. Matt Ham, Kevin Adams, the co-founders of Uprint. Jumping on live to the show today. I want to let you guys know that we'd love to connect with you. If you have any questions or want to reach out to us, if you have any guest recommendations for the show, anybody that's doing amazing things out there, we love hearing these fantastic stories. You guys can connect with us. info@uprint.life, and want to encourage you guys to do so. Our corporate partners make this show possible. We want to recognize the Honeycutt Group. It's a family-owned insurance brokerage firm with more than 10 years of experience here in North Carolina. Chad and his team offer home, auto, life, any insurance needs that you have. Make sure you do give them a call, get a competitive quote on your insurance, 910-338-1773. Many thanks to Chad and his team. Kev, today we're helping folks catalyze their faith by asking some powerful questions. And we kind of joked in the last segment that people are like, I don't want to think. Don't challenge me. They get this real offended thing when it comes to stepping into this.
Right.
But if Tony Robbins walked in the room, they'd go, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it shows.
Yeah, that freaks me out at age 52 and a half. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, and the reason is because we put value on positional power and fame and all this kind of stuff, which is what we talked about in the first segment.
Right.
Is whether we want to admit it or not, we value or define success by how many people know your name or whatever, which is just weird. It's just so weird. But anyway, going down the path, what I wanted to step into in this segment is one of these questions here, because when we walk with people, when we talk with people, so many people are stuck or feel stuck, express being stuck in this job they don't love, in this position in life where they're just kind of going through the routine, the motions or whatever.
Right.
And this question, man, is so good. It says, what stops people from fulfilling the desires of their heart as defined by what they were actually made to do? So what stops people from fulfilling the desires of their heart, what they were made to do? And the follow-up to this is, what are the biggest obstacles? And, you wrote the questions, the answers. Where do you see, with most of the folks that you mentor, that you walk with, what do you see as the biggest challenge that people face with this?
God, there's so much, and it's so personal and so organic. I'm trying to circle the helicopter, but
this is Kevin not giving an answer.
Well, to put it in a maybe a nutshell of sorts, it's the obstacles are typically strongholds, which are underlying behavior patterns based on just things that we've experienced in our life, painful events and traumas and those kind of things. So there's so much to that, but it all comes down to we have these behavior patterns there in our subconscious, and so there's just so much to that. But uncovering those things is the first step to recognize. I'll give you, for instance, okay. I struggled with rejection, and it's also called an orphan spirit, feeling abandoned. Now, my parents loved me, and they still do. They're awesome people. I love them so much. But my dad's a pretty quiet guy, and I respect him and love him dearly. But just hearing certain words, they weren't there when I was a kid that I remember. And that was tough for me. So that led me down a path. Now, I'm not blaming my dad. I'm just saying this is part of life. My parents were young. They had to learn how to be parents. I'm the first. So anyway, rejection is a stronghold because it causes you to overreact or underreact. It causes you to act in a counterfeit way than what God has planned for you. God hasn't rejected me, but I had to start looking for my heavenly Father instead of my earthly father, and then he gave me both. So rejection is a stronghold. It is an obstacle. Now, that's a big answer. I got lots of big answers. But anyway, strongholds, I think, are the quickest, easiest thing that we can notice as obstacles. Once we're aware of them in our own life, then we have to learn how to navigate the strongholds of others. Yeah. It's a whole nother level of navigation. Once you get through both of those, then you can really start operating fully, in freedom. So it's powerful.
I remember one time talking with someone, and they were in some career, and when they were talking about what they love to do, is they just said, I would love to coach youth sports.
Yeah.
But I can't make any money doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do it.
It's a mantra. Yep.
And, so I think want to distinguish between the fact that the money is the excuse, but that's not the obstacle.
Right.
The obstacle's underneath that.
That's right.
Yes. It's a stronghold.
Yes.
That you have become convinced that you need to have money,
right, to
be approved by a dad or culture or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of lay that out a little bit because people say money or, I'm just afraid. Well, fear's not the stronghold.
Yeah.
There's something underneath that that is the stronghold, that's the root, and the fear is the fruit of that.
Yeah, it's like praying for the enemy to counterfeit bless you. I mean, it's saying but to Scripture. Well, I believe all that, but we that carries out into very specific ways in our life, and they become, listen, Scripture says, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it shall be done for you. Now, that's either a lie or it's true. There's no black and white with this. I mean, there's no gray. It's God's word, so we know it's true. So we have to understand, how does this work? We can't just throw it out. We have to have that childlike trust that this is real. So when you start there and keep going back to that place over and over, it's like a chiropractic adjustment. Then you can begin to listen to the Spirit, and the heart will jump on board. Then the things that pass through your mind are no longer in control. So when you see something, you're not automatically going, oh, I can't, or I wish, or what if. You can break that. But in the context of business, business is a great place, a great stage to live out who you are. And I think a lot of people do that so well. Listen, God's the provider. So, it's not money that's the issue. It's your heart. Got to get your heart connected to your spirit.
Yeah, I love that. And because too often I think people use money or fear or lack of resources. Those are just simply excuses. And just to reiterate what you just said, is it's not that, it's your heart.
That's right.
And that's why people, in large part, are not being transformed.
Right.
Just because they're focusing on the surface level excuses.
Yeah.
Well, how can I get more money? You know what I mean? Or how can I remove my fear?
It's how.
Yes.
Will. That's the difference between, people still do it even after we go through it for hours. I still see it in people, and you have to keep going and keep going. But finally, they break through, and it's just, man, it's amazing because they won't go back.
Yeah,
and it's so important. But yeah, that is it. The will is what we've got to trade and let go of. That's what surrenders. But the easy, quick definition of that is letting go of how. You don't have to carry that. God gets credit. Let him do it. He's all into the how. We see it through Scripture. We see it in life experience. We see the heroes in the world even, and the heroes of faith. It's all the same process. Let go of the how. Focus on the why. The why is tapped right into the desires of your heart. So you don't listen to that voice anymore. But it's a lot better and more meaty than just trying to break a bad habit.
Yeah.
You have to rebuild from the ground up. With deep encouragement and learning and practice.
Yeah. And that's just what I want to hammer home here as we close out this segment. It's just that people need to know that this is different than just removing my fear, or, you know what I mean? Like
right.
the surface level excuses that most people give to why they're not pursuing the desires of their heart. This is actual freedom.
Yeah.
It's actual removing the root, breaking off the chain so that people can step into who they were created to be.
Well, you can go to church all you want and go for it. That church is a good thing, but your pastor's not going to come spend hours and hours with you. You can pay Tony Robbins a lot of money, and he's never going to call you. We do both, and it's a whole lot less expensive, and it's the best investment you'll ever make if you want to be free.
Yeah. Guys, I want to encourage you, if you have any interest in this, just schedule like a discovery call. Let's just talk. Find out kind of where you are, what it is that you want to accomplish, and we'd be happy to talk with you guys. You can connect with us at youprint.life, youprint.life. Email us info@youprint.life. This is Matt Ham, Kevin Adams, Faith in Business. We're going to take a short break and back right after this. Hello, and welcome back to Faith in Business. This is the show that helps you practically and actively live out your faith between Sundays, where you spend the majority of your time. As part of Wake Up Our Faith, Matt Ham and Kevin Adams here, co-founders of Uprint, live at Wilmington's Big Talker, 106.7 FM, WFBT. Many thanks to Nick Craig, the work he puts in here to produce the show for us. Grateful for that. Want to encourage you guys, if you have not already, check out the podcast. Kevin, I told you about this. We've got Wake Up Our Faith podcast, but the second hour now is going to be its own stream. It's going to be Faith in Business. So if you go Wake Up Our Faith or Faith in Business on iTunes, we actually got on Spotify and Google Play.
All right.
So, man, we're just rolling.
Yeah.
It's anywhere podcasts are found, right? So it's exciting. Appreciate you guys diving in and jumping on. The show is made possible by our corporate partners, and we want to recognize our good friend Chris Riley and the team at Fountain Financial Associates. They are all about giving clients and families a better life. They call it keeping promises, and they do that very well. Many thanks to Chris and the team at Fountain Financial Associates. You can give them a call at 910-256-8882. So, Kev, today we have focused on some challenge questions. I love it. It's kind of like salt in an open wound, or like a loving, good. I'm trying to think of a better image than that.
Salt in an open wound.
That's
great, man. Jump in the ocean if you got a sore.
It cleans it out. It is good.
Yeah,
it heals it.
I mean, ocean is awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's just like 70% of your body's made out of ocean, I think. Salt water.
Well, it's like, my kids, when they get a cut or something like that, they fight you like the dickens when you want to clean that thing.
Yeah.
If you don't clean it, it gets
No, Daddy, no.
screaming on the floor. You're like, fine, get gangrene.
And then you just do it.
Absolutely.
And then they're calmed down and they're like, thank you.
Hey, this is a true story. We did this year. We had to get the kids. We decided to give the kids a flu shot. Okay, and they hate it.
Oh yeah.
Sarah James went first.
All right.
And she was a rock star.
Yeah.
And her older brothers are like, she didn't cry, so I can't cry, right? And bless Grayson's heart. He was the last one, and he was just being so tough. And you got to know Grayson. He's got fire in him.
Yeah.
That doctor stuck him, set him on the ground. He was so mad, he kicked the table and broke the leg.
Wow.
And we're like, we got to go. we're out of here.
Sorry about that.
So anyway, yeah. But sorry, it was Dr. Sasser that Dr. Sasser did it.
All right.
So we like eternally owe Dr. Sasser.
Yeah, he's such a gentle spirit.
Yeah, he is. He was kind.
Imagine.
He was kind. Sorry, rabbit trail there. But today we're asking some challenge questions to help catalyze and wake up people's faith, and they're good.
Challenge questions. Yeah. How do you weigh smoke? You can. We'll save that for another time. Challenging questions. The paradox. Well, these are just sort of a gentle, reflective process. Kind of open the door. I've had people answer them, go through and answer them all and send them back to me, and I've other people just kind of reflect on them for their own sort of just to get in the right mindset, and then we can talk about it later. So it's not like a test or anything, but one good one. Well, there's a lot of good ones, but one of them I think is worth sharing. Number 25, it says, "What value does God place on your life? Would you give it a monetary value? Or would you be willing to say you are priceless to him, knowing what he intends for you to accomplish?" So it helps you see the value. What value does God place on your life? I don't know that a lot of people really go there.
Sure.
They go to church and say, "Thank you, Jesus, for saving me." 1, 2, 3 songs, a couple of prayers, good sermon, see ya. But how much better is it to ask that question? What value does God place on your life? You have to flip it. What did he pay for it? Paid everything. There's nothing higher. That means you're priceless. Yeah. Right? So, pretty powerful thought. But you can't just leave it there. You got to step in. You see how it starts to build upon itself. Planted a seed starts to germinate, turns into a plant, a tree, etc. on out.
Orchard.
There's fruit, and there's an orchard. And there's lots of orchards. It's infinite.
I think very few people spend time thinking about what their value is to God.
That's too bad.
And that's a shame.
It's not silly or funny. It's too bad is what it is. People need to think about it, don't you?
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, that's the point. It's just pause for a second in the midst of the craziness and really let this into your heart.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and it hurts my heart to have people belittle it. And not that you were, but, I remember people saying to me, "That guy just sits around and reads the Bible all the time." Their family's all broken up now, by the way, and divorced and living in different parts of the country. The kids are a mess. This is 15 years ago. It's heartbreaking to me. It's not an "I told you so." It's just, come on, guys. This is your life, and it flies by. It is flying by. Yeah. It's the time's now. So knowing your value to God is really, really important. So anyway, you didn't press the preach button, but there you go.
You can have it, man.
Hallelujah. Glory.
That's the red pen right there. You got the red pen. That's the red letters.
Got to bring the red pen, the red pill, the red letters.
I love it. I love it. I think that there's just a really encouraging thing that. Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. I feel like it's a really encouraging piece just as we wrap up today. Man, it's just challenge folks to really sit with that for a little bit. That in itself is enough for me. It's just like really think about how valuable you are to God, and we wake up and we go through a world that doesn't seem to value us, and so we let that into our heart, and we begin living as if we don't matter, or that our only mattering is providing for our family. Yeah. And you've got a bunch of I had a picture a few years ago of a lion in captivity, and kind of this idea of a Christian man. Like, lions are king of the jungle, right? They roar, they go after their food. But when you put them in captivity, initially maybe the lion's like, I'm the main attraction. Give me some meat, And
Yeah.
but then after a while, if you've ever seen a lion in captivity, they just lay there.
Yeah.
And it's the saddest thing ever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it's like we have this generation that's just sleeping lions.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking. Like
Yeah,
you
it
said.
is. Well, this is how the enemy works on believers. He's not going to unsave them. He just derails them, keeps us from being productive. So not only does he keep us from bringing other people to the Lord, but he keeps us from helping other people live out who they are.
Mm-hmm.
This is how the kingdom grows and expands.
Oh, yeah.
We have to do this. This is how God put it together. So it's really, really important. But I like the idea of, I know we're getting short on time, but I like the idea of, this question, what value does God place on your life? Go further with it. Would you give it a monetary value? And you know what a lot of people do? It's just what you have, your what material you've accumulated, or your income, or the value of your business, or whatever that is, and that's utterly ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
We sit in front of some people who are multimillionaires, and are they truly more valuable than you are? That's ridiculous. That's not how God feels. But this isn't pie in the sky philosophical stuff. Yeah, well, it's all about how it hits the ground running and, tangible. It's not, because God lives in you, and he is eternal. So it always manifests itself tangibly. So when you're thinking about taking yourself, your faith into your business world, you have to remember you got to get in the right frame of mind at moment one, and you got to come back to this place that you are an individual. A vacancy in history has your name on it. Step into that, and you will be absolutely valuable, because you're expressing who God is, and it will change the world. So it doesn't matter how much you have or don't have. What matters is God's going to show you the way, lead you through it, and provide everything you need to carry that out if you step into it.
Yeah.
If you don't, again, said it earlier, the gravity of comfort is mediocrity. Who wants that?
So good. The word that's keep coming to my heart as we kind of wrap this up, man, is potential. God sees our potential.
Yeah.
We tend to focus on what's in front of us, but he sees us for what we can be, what he's created us to be.
Right.
He sees potential.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something challenging to think about as you think about your value to God, think about his potential for your life.
There is much greater value in a seed than in a big dead rock like a mountain. That's why you can move a mountain with the faith of a seed. The seed has life in it. Mountain does not.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hallelujah.
If you say amen or hallelujah, that was a good time to say it. Man. What a good show today,
All right.
Kev. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. Matt Ham and Kevin Adams. We want to invite you guys into this. The Portable Faith community is a way to get plugged in, to support our ministry, get challenging and encouraging content right to your device every day. WakeUpMyFaith.com, or dive on in, guys. uprint.life. We'll see you next week.